Hello, friends. This is beautiful Jane July. I wear my most fancy dress, which I hope Jane Austen would approve. I have my Pemberley banner. Can you see it? Yay, Pemberley! And I think this is time to talk about persuasion. This is the latest of Jane Austen published novels. It was published in 1818 after her death, and this is supposed to be her most mature piece of work, and I liked it a lot. I think I liked it even more than Pride and Prejudice. Well, they are very different, so I can't tell. This is a story about Anne Elliot. She's a daughter of baronet. Her family doesn't like her, doesn't appreciate her, and she lived without her mother because her mother died when she was 14. At the beginning of the novel, we begin to know that her father spent almost all their fortune and they have to move to Bath and lend their house to Mr. and Mrs. Croft, in fact, to Admiral Croft. And one of Admiral Croft's relatives was known in this house a few years ago. Actually, 8 or 7 years ago, Captain Wentworth was engaged with Anne Elliot, but she was persuaded by her father and her mother figure, Mrs. Russell, that he's not the best man for her, and so she broke the engagement. Now, 7 years later, she loves him maybe even more than she loved him previously, and she wants to change the situation, but she doesn't know how, and so the story goes from here. What I want to tell. First, this is a brilliant novel. Point. Second, I don't think that love story actually is the most strong part of this story. All, feelings, real, true feelings that we can see flourishing in Pride and Prejudice, we can't see here actually, because, like in third chapter, authors tell us that Anne still loves Captain Wentworth, and we do not know much more about her feelings or about his feelings. We know this longing that she wants to be with him, but that's it. I can't say, I don't think that love relationships explores deeply in this novel, which makes it even more interesting because all other relations are explained even more deeply. And when we know, like, this is a constant, this is like an axiom, uh, she loves him, and we don't talk much more about this during the novel. This was such a fresh point of view. I liked it so much. Also, like in all Jane Austen's books, there are so many other characters that are so brilliantly written, and you know so many things about them, that this makes for me this novel even more exciting. I I didn't like all love, story. I tried to not skip it, of course, but I was willing to see more of these families in which she lived. It was very interesting. There are a few topics that are, I think, deeply explored in this novel, and I want to talk a little bit about them just to make it more not so, common review of Persuasion, because everyone knows that this is a book about second chance. And actually, I think this is second novel about second chance after Pride and Prejudice. Um, and again, it's interesting. Okay, so few things I want to talk about. First, in all reviews that I saw, Mrs. Russell is supposed to be wrong when persuaded Anne at the beginning of their story to refuse to Captain Wentworth. And I don't think she was wrong, and I don't think Jane Austen thought this. Like, Mrs. Russell never thought of herself as being wrong in this situation, and we may not forget that Captain Wentworth is a sailor, and this is a very dangerous profession. And of course, they didn't want Anne at 19 became a young widow without any money, because at the beginning of their story, like 8 years ago, Captain Wentworth is very poor, but very self-conscious, and he is sure in his brilliant future. And I am personally afraid of young men of this type, when they are sure in themselves so much that they will not, make any other explanation about how they want to live next and how they want to provide for the family. He was sure that because he's so energetic, he will succeed in his profession, and Mrs. Russell was not that sure. And also Mrs. Russell told Anne that Anne is very young and she seen almost nobody and nobody's seen her. So she was not, she didn't go to many balls or something. She didn't met many young men. So maybe she will meet someone even better. And I think this is a very sensible point of view, a very sensible opinion from a mother figure. It's normal to talk like this to daughters. I have two daughters, they're very small, but yes, I would persuade them the same. Just wait and look for different people, not what the rush with this and all the stuff. So there are a lot of different types of persuasion in this book, and not only Mrs. Russell persuaded Anne to leave Captain Wentworth, not only all them persuaded Anne's father to leave their mansion and to move to Bath. But I think a lot of time people persuaded themselves in something. Like, for example, Anne, she was persuaded by herself as well as by her family, like closer family, that she is not worth attention. She is just Anne. She is not brilliant. She is not too beautiful. She is not very young now. She is 27. And she will be like this for the whole life. And Captain Wentworth also persuaded himself that he wants a woman to marry a woman who is self-conscious, who has her own opinion, who doesn't listen to her relatives. I understand he had this, background now, but again, all people in here except Anne has rather strict rules, not of society, but for themselves, what and how they want to live. Next thing I want to talk about, it's about sailors. So I think this is first novel in Jane Austen where are so many people of this profession, and I think it's very interesting that this is her last novel. Maybe at the end of the life she began to be interested, she changed priorities. At the beginning of the novel, again, Anne was persuaded to leave Captain Wentworth because she saw nothing. She hadn't seen the world yet. And at the end of the novel, I think personally that she is drawn to Captain Wentworth because with him she has this ability to see the world. There are some conversations with sailor wives in here, how they travel with their husbands to India and see different places and live in different places and live in the ships, and how it can be comfortable and how it can be interesting and how it can be the most happy memories in their lives. And it almost look like author a little bit envy them. I think so. And I think this is very important point of this book. This he like opens the more broad world for her, not only himself and his family, but she can travel with him a lot more. Also, there are some kids in here, and I think kids are described brilliantly. They are funny. Um, they intrude in grown-ups' lives. They always are part of landscape. So this is like very true to life. And there is one passage which I read to my husband, and he was like, this looks so real and so modern. What year was it written?" Um, Another minute brought another addition. The younger boy, a remarkable stout, forward child of 2 years old, having got the door opened for him by someone without, made his determined appearance among them, and went straight to the sofa to see what was going on, and put in his claim to anything good that might be given away. There being nothing to be eat, he could only have some play. And so he climbed on Anne's head, and then Captain Wentworth saved her from this child and pulled him away. Um, First, my younger daughter is 2 years old, and this is so true to life. Like, this description is brilliantly, I mean, this is amazing, really. And second, I think this is very um, mature for the author in romance novel to make men save women from kid, not from, some real danger, but from these hard, small things in life that are real burden to every woman. When men understand this and really save her, this is very gentle gesture, and this means that he really cares for her, not for his appearance, and he help her not because he wants to be a good man and help women in different situations, in difficult situations, but he helped her because he looked at her, and he watched her, and he really saw that she struggled and she was not happy at this moment, and he was there for the rescue. I think this was really um, wonderful. I like this part a lot. Also, there is very cozy Christmas scene with kids' crafts in it, and roaming fire, and I think and for some people it was like very like the center of their life, and for some people who does not live with kids all the time, it was a distraction, and they were too noisy and there were too much going on. This is again very real, and I like this novel because of that a lot. The other topic that is explained a lot is disease, illness, sickness. I'm sorry, I'm not that good in language. I don't know which word is like real. There are some injuries in here, some chronic illnesses, and also some mental health situations. First of all, the situations, Anne became the center figure who helped people. So she's wise enough and energetic enough to understand what sick person needs more and provide this, either by administrating some situation, call for the doctor, call for the nanny who could take care of girl or something, or by telling something important to the person who maybe is in depression or something like that. I think um, first of all, this shows an like very wise and skillful in life person. And also, this shows Anne as a leader. It shows us that she is not persuaded, she is not leaded in life all the time. It's not like she is persuaded in every aspect of her life, she is listened to others. No, she has her own opinions and she leads people in different situations. She knows what to do. Um, and I want to mention also that it's not like she thinks she doesn't blame Mrs. Russell for persuaded her to leave Captain Wentworth. She tells her that yes, she was young, but it was her own decision. And I think this is also a wonderful um, character detail that she, takes the responsibility of her actions. Um, yes, about uh, sickness, illness. There is very interesting character of Mrs. Smith, I think. Her school friend that she found in Bath in rather bad situations. She's a widow. She's has no money and she is very sick. But author tell us that she was very optimistic and she tried to look at the situation with joy and I think this is like a reflection of Jane Austen's attitude to her illness because this is like I don't know much about Jane Austen life, so I can't tell in details, but there are some exploring of what does it mean to be sick, how the life changes with it, and all this. Um, the last thing I want to say about this book, um, when Pride and Prejudice was an exploration of how couples go into the marriage. So how people get together, what people choose which, like how people choose each other, what are their reasons for going in marriage, and how it all begins. This book is about happily or not happily ever after. So this exploration inside the marriage, inside the life with kids, with burdens, financial burdens, with social things, a life of a sailor wife, which needs to who needs to deal with distance and with travel with her husband. Um, this was the most interesting part for me. Anne lives with different people in different families in this book. She lives with her father, she lives with her younger sister and her husband, and they live nearby his parents, so it's like almost a blended family. And also, Anne lives with Mrs. Russell, and then she see Admiral family and all other there are Mr. Wentworth friends, sailors with their families. There is a widower here and a widow here, and this is very interesting. Um, yes, I think this book is more social explanation than love exploration, and I found it exciting. I can't say that I find it that exciting, the love story. Again, I think I talked about this before. I maybe wanted to read more about how they met, what they felt, how they broke up, what they told each other. but we don't know the details. And I think it's fine. It's almost like an equation, and we take the love out of equation. We know it is there, but we almost do not talk about it, and we can see all other things. I think Anne's and Mr. Wentworth relationships are not only love. It is also um, a life they lived without each other. This pain inside them, and their attempts to 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 love other people. So they tried to love someone and failed, both of them. And all this together is a very interesting blend of feelings and thoughts. And I think it makes the couple much richer. That's all my thoughts on Persuasion of Jane Austen. I like this book a lot. It's definitely a highlight of my year. Um, Read it. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. And happy Jane Austen July. Take care. See you in another video. Bye.